The secondary, a primary concern for the Bengals. Mike Petraglia outside Paycor Stadium here on Wednesday, just 36 short hours after that disaster in Cleveland on Monday night, 32-13, a loss to the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals have to find a way to get it all together and get ready for the Carolina Panthers this Sunday, 1 p.m. inside Paycor Stadium behind me. The Bengals, of course, will be favored to beat the 2-6 Panthers. They were favored to beat the Cleveland Browns on Monday night, and we all know how that turned out. Of course, the big story for the Bengals this week, how do they account for the loss of star cornerback Chido Awuzie? He was lost for the season to a torn ACL in his right knee. Zach Taylor saying today that the team expects to place him on season-ending injured reserve later in the week. A couple of moves certainly will be made, or at least one move will be made to account for his loss. How do the Bengals go about accounting for his snaps in the secondary? One option we may have seen on Monday night, that could be Dax Hill. Of course, he was drafted as a safety out of Michigan, but he is one of those rare breeds, a safety who can probably also play corner. He told us, did Dax Hill here on Wednesday, that he really hasn't taken any snaps at that position in practice, and it is something he'll have to pick up on the fly. He did so on Monday night when Trey Flowers went out with a hamstring injury. Zach Taylor saying that Trey Flowers, his situation is day-to-day, so we'll have to wait and see. He also may not be ready for Sunday against Carolina, but will it be Dax Hill? He obviously has the athleticism to take care of those responsibilities, but as Lou Anarumo told us, it's one thing to go through those reps in practice. It's another to go through it at game speed, and he has a lot to learn, does Dax Hill. That doesn't mean the Bengals won't give him the opportunity to do so when the Bullets are live on Sunday afternoon, but preferably they'd like to not have to put him in that situation. Do they get Eli Apple back? Eli Apple spoke to reporters here on Wednesday and said his hamstring is feeling much better. He was a participant in the IEL indoor structure walkthrough that the Bengals held late on Wednesday afternoon. Looks like Eli Apple will be back. Cam Taylor-Britt came through Monday okay. It looks like he'll be a go. So those are likely your two starting cornerbacks. But if something happens and the Bengals need to rely on a third cornerback, will it be Dax Hill? Could Alan George, someone who impressed in exhibition season and in training camp, he was very, very impressive. Lou Anarumo said here on Wednesday that he showed a lot of good qualities during training camp and the preseason. He is somebody who might get a look-see. He would have to be activated, of course, from the practice squad to be eligible, but Alan George, that rookie free agent corner out of Vanderbilt, is a possibility. So the Bengals have a lot to figure out between now and Sunday in terms of what their secondary is going to look like. We already know they are pretty set at the safety position for now with Jesse Bates and Von Bell. They like to use Dax Hill, the rookie out of Michigan, all over the secondary, but their hand may be forced a little bit more to use him on the outside or in some modified corner position where he gives help to someone like a Cam Taylor-Britt. Of course, on Monday night, we saw Dax Hill playing a lot of corner in the fourth quarter when Trey Flowers went out with the hamstring injury. Also of note here on Wednesday was the presence of Jamar Chase in the locker room. He walked through. He was on crutches, but he did get treatment. He was in the sauna. He was doing a lot of things with his teammates, and it looked like certainly Jamar Chase enjoyed getting back into the fold after missing last week, getting his hip examined. Obviously, he is out for the next several weeks with a reported hairline fracture in his hip as well as a torn labrum. The Bengals are letting that heal on its own. And again, Zach Taylor repeating here on Wednesday, they're going to see how it turns out. They are hopeful for a result and expect that result to be positive towards the end of the season so that he will be ready to play in, let's say, the last month of the season, or maybe 5 or 6 weeks if they're lucky, when the Bengals and this offense certainly needs him. Joe Burrow spoke here on Wednesday. He talked about keeping cool, not getting too high, not getting too low. Bengals have been through bad losses before. They've been through big wins before. They went through this last season when they were 5-4 heading into the bye after 2 really bad losses, including that loss to the Cleveland Browns here at Paycor Stadium last year. Bengals will be 5-4 if they take care of business and beat the Carolina Panthers here on Sunday. Burrow also saying we need to be better in all phases of the game. Yes, the running game definitely needs to be better. Bengals pretty much putting everything on the passing game on Monday night because they couldn't run the ball effectively, and without Jamar Chase, that becomes a lot more difficult to do. We'll have you covered all throughout the week as the Bengals fine-tune their game for the Carolina Panthers this coming Sunday at Paycor Stadium. Follow us online at clnsmedia.com. Follow me on Twitter, as always, at Trags, Trags, and be sure to click on the link below and subscribe to the Jungle Roar YouTube page. Want to hear all of your comments about the Bengals, good, bad, and indifferent, in the comments section below. Outside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.